Hey there. Thanks for coming to jetcitymusic.com. Tim Carey here to talk about bass harmonics. So why don't we jump right in? Many of you may be familiar with harmonics as a way to tune your bass. This is taught in a lot of books and a lot of teachers, and you can learn about this a variety of different ways, but essentially what it is a way to hear higher notes on your strings, which makes it a little easier to tune. A lot of tune there, actually. But for those of you who don't have any experience with harmonics, I'd like to just go ahead and talk about sort of the basics, what they are, and how to play them. So essentially what you're doing is when you're playing a harmonic is you're taking the string and you're separating the string into smaller pieces by holding your finger over the string and stopping the vibration in certain points. Now, what I mean by that is once you set the string in motion, you can actually take your finger and place it in certain points, creating other notes. Hear those? A little faint on that one. But they're actually more useful if you hold your finger in position beforehand. You can find all these different places there to get all these different notes. Now, essentially what you're doing, the way that the sound is being created is, without getting into all the details and the physics, you're taking the string and you are multiplying the amount of times that it's vibrating by breaking the string into even numbers. So check this out. If we take our finger and we place it right on the 12th fret, and when I say that I don't mean right on the fret itself, I mean over the fret on the string, and this is with a very small amount of pressure. What we're doing is we're separating the string into two even pieces between here and here. This will actually double the speed of vibration, giving us a higher note. Happens to also be an A. Now if we take our finger and we place it roughly over the 7th fret and do the same thing, we're actually breaking the string into 3 even pieces. From here to here, from here to roughly here, and then from here to here. This gives us another note. This note happens to be an E. Right? We can break it into 4 pieces right here, which gives us another A. 5 pieces gives us the note C sharp, so on and so forth. On each string we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 different usable harmonics on each string. Now I think it's important to understand exactly what notes these harmonics are and why they're those notes, or how to kind of think about it so that you can use them in your own music as opposed to just having them as sort of this novelty thing. So I'll go ahead and try to explain that really quick. Essentially what you're doing, or when you do this, is you're extracting what are called the overtones from the string. Now without getting into all the details about the overtones, we'll just talk about how that relates to music. So you can think of it like this. Each string essentially contains a dominant 7th chord, or really a major chord, because the 7th note is a really high harmonic that you don't use that often, but essentially a major chord from the string name. So if you take all of the harmonics, or the usable harmonics on the A string, you get an A chord. Now to demonstrate this, what I'll do is I'll play an A major arpeggio or an A major chord on the bass. You can hear that. Right? Now I'm going to go ahead and play all of the harmonics in order on the A string. right? You hear the difference. Right? Just a little bit higher. Now, if you know the notes of an A major chord, which is why I'm always really into teaching theory to my students, then you can find an application for those different notes. So essentially what you end up with is all of the notes of an E chord on the E string, A chord on the A string, D chord, and then the G chord. And there will be a tab, but this will all be tabbed out on an attachment that you can grab from the video. So hopefully you'll be able to follow that. Cool. And those are the harmonics. Now, just knowing what they are and how to play them. Now, keep in mind, you're going to have to, specifically for the ones in this area, you're going to really need to practice getting a little bit of finesse when you play those ones, because if you're pushing too hard, it'll kill it. You got to really just barely touch that string. Cool. Now, the specific locations of them, really quick, it's on the tab, but I'll go over it one more time. We have 12th fret, 7th fret, 5th fret, 4th fret. Now this is a little tricky. It's a little bit to this side of the 3rd fret. It's not over the 3rd fret. Then you go a little bit to the other side of the 3rd fret, and then just maybe halfway between the 2nd and 3rd fret, maybe a little closer to the 2nd fret. So once you get in this region, they get a lot closer together. Right? And that's where they're located. Now once you get them under your fingers, there's a lot of cool things you can do with them. One of the probably the most practical use is making chords with them. So without getting into too much detail, I'll just show you a few chords that you can make using harmonics down in this part of the bass. Now, because of the way the instrument's tuned and the ease of the harmonics, they tend to work really well in certain keys. So the key of G or the key of E minor, key of C are very good keys to use harmonics in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little groove that you can play using harmonics in the key of G major. So what you'll do is you'll start with a fretted G down here on the 3rd fret. Now if you can, take your pinky and see if you can get some of these 5th fret harmonics on this string. These are going to be the notes G, D, and A. Any of them will work just fine with this G bass note. If you get all three, it's a G9 chord or a G sus2 chord. If you just get the top two, or even just the top one, it's the G chord, it's fine. It's our first chord. Move it up to that note B. Helps to have your pinky in this location so that you can get the harmonics with the other fingers. Now we're going to do 5th fret and 4th fret on the next string. These will be the notes A and F sharp, giving us roughly a B minor 7 chord, something like that. Right. If you had an extra finger, you could get this D up here and make a real B minor 7. The next chord we're going to play will be an E root. Both of these for the E minor 7 chord. That's B minor 7, E minor 7, both of our 5th fret harmonics. Then we'll just do this nice little A root, keep those on top, take it to a D, and back to G. Now the rhythm you apply to this is really up to you. I mean, you can hang out on each one for a while, right? But I'm just gonna go ahead and make it a little funky, and it'll be in the tablature so you guys can check it out. Thank you very much, and thanks for visiting Jet City Music. Come back again.